Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for Demon Slayer Season 2 on Toonami. So, this season pretty much comprises of the Mugen Train arc, which is about 7 episodes, and the Entertainment District arc, which is 11 episodes. So, I'm not going to go that much into the Mugen Train arc, because it pretty much comprises the same kind of stuff that we saw in the Mugen Train movie, and I love that. Here, I think they did a very good job of adapting that into its own arc, and then just having this together in the season. That's a hard kind of thing to do. You either work out to the point where you either stretch it too much or compress it too much. And here I think they found the nice kind of mixture. Everything was impactful. Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke meeting up with Rengoku, dealing with the whole dream demon and everything. The train arc, him learning about the Himekame Kagura, asking, of course, the Flame Hashira Rengoku about that. All the kind of epic fights and everything. Now, granted, it wasn't to the exact kind of animation level that the movie was able to do, but it wasn't like complete shit tier, you know what I mean? Like, the animation was still good and great. I mean, granted, God, the Entertainment District arc really had some fucking good shit going on in that one as well. But I think that this was a really good adaptation of it. It felt long enough for what was kind of going on, so I won't really delve that much into it. I like the Mugen Train one. I love the movie, and I think they did a very good job, very great job actually, of adapting it here for this season without like having a great kind of disparity between this is the uber awesome movie one, and then it's like, here's the season one. Fucking sucks. No, that's not the case. I think they stand pretty close together in that. So then we get into the new stuff going on with the Entertainment District arc, of course. They are fucked up from losing Rengoku, and they're kind of, even though they only really worked with him on one mission, he vastly had a profound impact on all of them as they decided to train up better and get into better shape, so that way, if they get into that kind of position again, they do not lose the Hashira like that, and they're able to save more people and help more people. And it's kind of cool seeing them going in their different kind of arcs and kind of getting onto that before we get introduced to the Sound Hashira, Tengen Uzui, who he's kind of an asshole in the beginning, and that's mainly because he was pretty much trying to kidnap one of the people, one of the ladies that worked there, is kind of like the nurses. One was like, I kind of need one of you, and he's being kind of an asshole about it. But like Tanjiro's like, no, fuck you, man. It's like, what? It's like, all right, fine, I'll take you three, and we'll go. And his plan is to get to the Entertainment District arc. Not arc, but of course, the Entertainment District, because he had, we learned that he'd sent his three wives in there, and he's lost communication with them. They know that there's some kind of demon activity going on in this Entertainment District, and it's actually kind of cool to see the Oirons and how they're kind of like the top tier for these brothels and everything, and what they're able to do. And we've only got like 11 episodes, but they balanced very well in understanding the power structures and hierarchies in here, while doing kind of stupid kind of stuff where we have Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke dressed up as girls to go gather information like, hey, what happened to my three wives? And Zenitsu unmercifully complaining that Tengen Uzui has three wives. Also, one of the demons complains about it as well. Granted, Zenitsu kind of gets more annoying on the fact, whereas the demon, it kind of, like, granted, it fits with Zenitsu's character, but I'm like, stop harping on it, you little shit. But that's part of his character. Like, I don't term it as, like, the story doing something annoying. Maybe they go a little bit too much on the repetitiveness of it, but not to the point where I think it destroys it. It's mainly Zenitsu's character that is annoying. There is a difference. A character that's annoying of like, oh god, this is like a really badly done character. Or, oh no, this is a really well done character. They just annoy the fucking shit out of me with certain kind of shit. But Zenitsu is interesting still because of like, hopefully we get to a point where he deals with these kind of things and becomes the demon slaying warrior that he is when he's asleep. Because he still gets pretty good strength throughout that when we see here. So we see Tanjiro being the studious new girl in there, helping out and everything and doing his stuff. Zenitsu try to deal with everything while still grumbling that Tengen's got 3 wives. And interestingly enough, Inosuke, without his boar's head, makes the kind of most passable kind of girl as long as he doesn't speak. And seeing Tengen, like, talk with the madams of these brothels to get them in is fucking amazing. And he's really kind of an interesting character because he does things flashily and he says, I am a god kind of shit. But we understand that he has been through a lot of stuff because the important bit is, we're just like, okay, he's being kind of an asshole, but then we understand kind of why he's an asshole. Does it kind of excuse it as we see that he kind of gets better as the episodes go on? But he's part of this, like, shinobi clan. He got out of it. He got these 3 wives out of it. He's helping the Demon Slayer because this Demon Slayer Corps because he wants to kind of atone for things, especially since he was essentially part of kind of a training regiment that was similar to kind of Spartan training, where like him and his siblings were pitted against each other by his father. It's like, you fucking asshole, what the hell? But we're trying to figure out what's kind of going on, and Inosuke kind of gets the closest at first. It's like, the demon's using like these things to go through the walls, and we see that she's pretty much captured one of the wives, but then we get them kind of like popping back in and everything. I hope we get some more kind of time with them because they're very interesting kind of characters. My only kind of gripe would be that we didn't spend enough time with them, and maybe some kind of like fallout of the whole kind of fighting at the end with Tengen and how they kind of want to live their lives going forward. 11 episodes isn't a whole lot, but I think they adequately use the time here because they do their kind of investigation. Then we see that one of the Oiran's, Daki, pretty much starts going nutso and pretty much wanted to take out Zenitsu because she hates ugly things and wants to kill things, even not to the point of that she wouldn't eat Zenitsu. But this is an upper rank 6. And she wants to kill Hashira. And we see that Tanjiro has a very hard time fighting her, utilizing water style, but also Hinekame Kagura. And we've learned also in the beginning, I gotta hit this because this is important. It's the fall of Rengoku. Interesting kind of thing is that we had a longer first episode and longer ending episode. More about 50 minutes, more than usual the 23 that kind of goes on. Him learning about sun breathing from Rengoku's father and brother, how it's like the primary form from which all other forms of breathing are descended from. And we see that Tanjiro's like, oh, okay, the Hinekame Kagura could potentially be part of that, as we see him kind of learning about it. It was really affecting of him defending Rengoku from his father, as we see that he's not dealing with his death very well and instead lashing out at Tanjiro and also Rengoku's brother as well. But Tanjiro defending his Rengoku's brother and trying to get better through to Rengoku's father, and that is Tanjiro's strength, his kindness, and his perseverance. And this show I really like because he's a very good role model for that, because I like that he's able to show the strength of those things which other people would consider weaknesses. And I would hold him up to a lot of the kind of characters that I had looked up to, like Aragorn, Luke Skywalker, those kind of Steve Rogers, Captain America, those ones that have that kind of compassion and the empathy for others to help other people. And it's really seen in there and also in other subsequent episodes as well. I am also watching the next season as well, so there's a lot of kind of cool stuff there too. But we're focusing mainly here on the entertainment district. But we see that Tanjiro is really having a hard time trying to implement the Hinekame Kagura because it affects his body kind of differently, to the point that he's unable to do certain kind of things. His sword is kind of being taken down and chipped and everything. Nezuko has to help him out, but he then has to help her out and sing a song to kind of lull her to sleep. And because Tengen kind of helps out, it's one of the funny kind of bits. Sorry, when Daki's kind of going nutso is when Inosuke is running through and just cackling madly, trying to follow the demon throughout the brothel as he's ripping his way through the fucking place, and everyone's like, "What the fuck is going on with you, you asshole?" But she then spirals out, and she gets to the point where her head's cut off, and we learn that it's a 2-4. Daki and Goyataru. I think. Or am I talking about? Oh yeah, Goyataru. I got it right. Yeah. That I love the dark kind of parallel that is presented up with Daki as the sister, and them both being this the upper rank 6 demon, showcasing what could have happened if Tanjiro and Nezuko had both become demons. Uh, I have a soft spot for sibling relationships like this, brother and sister looking out for each other because of my sibling relationship. And I do like showing this kind of juxtaposition of Tanjiro helping his sister, trying to help her out, her helping him, and everything like that. Her kind of losing herself and him bringing her back, and how Goitaro and Daki have such a kind of toxic relationship, especially towards the end once they both lost the battle. It is a grueling, horrendous kind of battle that goes on with Inosuke and Zenitsu taking on Daki, and Tanjiro and Tengen towards the end taking on Goitaro. Daki utilizing pretty much her sashes and being very hard to decapitate, whereas Goitaro uses these blood scythes and everything and poisons, and Tanjiro getting like a wound where the scythe kind of goes through his mouth like that. Him utilizing the Hinekama Kagura and other kind of cutting technique, like we see his kind of scar change, transformation kind of style, and seeing him pushing his limits. And the great thing about this series is the battles are hard fought and hard won. Tanjiro and this group are kind of like the John McClanes. I mean, granted, they still survive these kind of things, but they get beat the fuck up. Tanjiro is pretty much poisoned. 2 of his fingers on one hand is broken. He had to tie his sword to one hand. Tengen Uzui loses a hand, gets poisoned, is like almost dying. Towards the end, they behead both of them, and like we see this explosion of blood scythes. And the thing is, Nezuko wakes back up and utilizes her demon powers to heal the people from the poison, mainly healing Inosuke, who pretty much got stabbed in the heart, but evidently he is able to move his organs. Kind of a weird one, but it fits with the kind of craziness of his character. Healing Tengen. It's funny because she utilizes her flame kind of blood demon art, and the wives are like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And then it's like, "Oh god, thank you, thank you." And Nezuko kind of carrying Tanjiro to find the rest of them. And I like one of the great kind of things is that I like that Tanjiro kind of has small moments, almost Assassin's Creed style, with the demons after they've fought, and them just complaining at each other and berating each other. We learn that Goitaro was treated horrendously in this entertainment district because of how ugly others perceived him to be, and how he tried to protect his sister. He was a debt collector, and then a samurai tried to do something towards his sister, and she stabbed him in the eye. And then the people of the entertainment district bound her hands and feet and burned her alive. Except the thing is, she didn't die, and it's horrendous. I mean, those are horrendous things to do, as the samurai also tried to mortally wound Goitaro, but Goitaro kills his ass, and this other woman as well, before they're kind of like walking around and almost dying in the street before Demon turns them. And we see that even though they've said horrible things to each other, as they are getting ready to go into the afterlife, Goyotaro tells her not to follow him. He is wondering if he is a bad influence on her, if she would have turned out better without him. And that's, as an elder brother and seeing that kind of stuff, that's a thing that elder siblings always kind of think about. Like, it was, even though I have not done any of the shit that they have, seeing him trying to think about that kind of stuff and understand that stuff as she's yelling, "You said you never leave me. What the fuck's kind of going on?" And as they both go towards the kind of hell and darkness together, and we see their heads finally end off. And it's funny because even though they're horrible people, Tanjiro's like, "No, don't say that stuff to your sister. No, you don't want those to be your last words." Like, even at the end with these horrible people that he has no obligation to treat with kindness whatsoever, he still treats with kindness because he understands what those words and impacts can mean, and these are the last words that you will share with each other because you're dying. It's really affecting. I have to hand it to them with how they're able to execute those kinds of things in here, to where it doesn't feel cheesy or dramatic, like drama farming or melodramatic or anything like that. It at least works for me. If it doesn't work for you, I completely get that. If you don't have this kind of relationship, it's or understand how some people can have that kind of relationship, that's totally understandable. I get that. It won't affect you as much as it affected me through this. And it was just nuts. I was like, wow, I love that they're able to do that even with their villains. It's not assuaging them of the wrongs that they've done, but understanding them and how to be better and to help better. And then we also see that the Master understands that this is the first time in like 100 years that an upper rank demon's been killed, before we see the other upper rank demons have that they're gonna pretty much be called to Muzan. Now that kind of gets more kind of later, but it's kind of funny to see that like everybody gets together. We see that the Demon Slayer Corps finds. We see that Nezuko and Tanjiro find the rest, that Zenitsu's alive, even though Zenitsu's woken up and is like, what the fuck happened to my ass? It's like, I think Inosuke's dead, but they find him, he's like, ugh, ugh. And we see that Tanjiro is just crying and just happy that him and his friends are alive, and it's nice. It's well done to me. And then we see that like other Demon Slayer Corps people find him, and then we get into the next arc. But I would definitely recommend both of these arcs in this season. Season 2. I mean, I got a Demon Slayer shirt. I'm looking forward to seeing what goes on at the next kind of seasons. I know that the manga is finished. But we'll see kind of what goes on. At some point, I will probably get the manga to read, and I might do a kind of review on that, maybe kind of any kind of differences. But I have been enjoying this anime a lot. Especially because they are able to balance the seriousness and the crazy kind of jokes or funny humor that works out pretty well. The humor is kind of like put in there in a more kind of sporadic kind of style, but they never completely let the humor take on and destroy like any kind of like action moments or serious moments. Sometimes after a kind of thing they'll be like, what? Like Tengen when he's unleashing his Sound Hashira stuff and being the flashy god. It rivals some of the stuff that I saw in the Mugen Train movie. Like, I'm like, damn! Maybe not to the exact level, but him and Goyotaro, when they're going at it, motherfucker, it is... You feel it. And I think that they did a good job of blending the CGI and the 2D animation. That is a hard thing to do. What you want... Whenever I bring up 2D and the CGI, what you need is you need them to work in harmony. CGI can be utilized to enhance things. That's what you want. That's what I think happens here. Especially with Gotaro's blood scythes and everything like that, and Daki's sashes and everything going on. I would definitely recommend this with plot, character development, action scenes, action informing of character and everything going on, and explanations. Tanjiro trying to utilize different kind of forms of breathing, coming up with different kind of techniques of fusing water breathing and his Hinokami Kagura. Zenitsu trying to go as fast as he can. And Inosuke trying to understand and create different kind of techniques with his beast breathing and everything. And learning Tengen Uzui's kind of stuff and understanding how he can continue to be a Hashira even if he wants to be a Hashira, and just kind of be like, you know what, I'm kind of done because he's lost an eye, he lost a hand, but he's still a badass, he could still do some shit. Man, and learning about the Hashira and everything, that's what I've been noticing throughout here, because in the first, we're kind of building up and setting up Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke, how they kind of work as the Demon Slayers as they're in the lower rank. Then we start to understand the Hashira and everything, and we're getting more of Nezuko as well, getting Rengoku, Tengen Uzui, then we get some more probably later on. It's I'm really enjoying it, and I like what we've been getting. And the thing is, I'd be fine with getting a little bit more, but not at the expense of pacing and good execution that we've been getting here. So we'll see how this goes on. I mean, I've been enjoying this so far, and I'd like to get to its end. So, yeah. So, those are my opinions on the season. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.